Thank you for joining me on a God Vlog. My name is Scott Elliott. I'm the pastor here at First Congregational United Church of Christ in Mount Vernon, Ohio. Wanted to talk just a little bit about Jesus' way. He had a whole different way that he created and led than the way many today claim or think he created and led. Jesus' way was not about judgment or exclusion, elitism, or hate. It wasn't focused primarily on afterlife either. Jesus' way was, and still is, about non-judgment, inclusivity, egalitarianism, and love right here, right now. For him, the realm of heaven breaks in when love abounds through us on earth. You see, Jesus of the Gospels wasn't about judging or excluding. He wasn't about working to deny rights to those who are different, nor was he about supporting the powerful who ignore or abuse the weak or the poor. Jesus of the Gospels thought and he taught that people should be treated equally and that we must aim for peace through nonviolence in all that we do. He taught that we must relate to one another with love. And you know what? He was arrested and he was killed because of that. And we don't like to think of Jesus as a rebellious criminal. It's scandalous. We may not want to hear it. We may not like it. But Jesus was in one respect like the two other men on the crosses with him the day that he was crucified. All three were rebels and all three were criminals under Roman law. And there's no getting around that. Try as we might and spin the story, scholars are convinced Jesus committed crimes on his way of love and peace. Author John Deere, a peace advocate, in his book, The Sacraments of Civil Disobedience, he put it like this: Jesus was a peacemaker who time and again broke the laws that oppressed people and kept them like slaves to injustice. Jesus was not just provocative. His actions were illegal, civilly disobedient, and divinely obedient. Mahatma Gandhi also wrote about Jesus. He wrote that Jesus was the most active resistor known, perhaps, to history. This was non-violence par excellence. There's this Facebook note, a little less famous person wrote it, but you might have seen it. It reads, the most effective activist in the history of the world was Yeshua of Nazareth. Yeshua means Jesus. That's how his name was probably pronounced back in his day. Yeshua of Nazareth, most effective activist in the history of the world. That's true. Jesus was a rebel. He really was. He was a gung-ho, radical about love. Radical. He was radical and gung-ho about love and peace and God. And one of the coolest things I think Jesus did was challenge the inequities of the Roman Empire by flipping a very exclusive Roman meal tradition on its head. The tradition only allowed the connected to attend elite banquets, so Jesus started a new kind of banquet, one with all the barriers knocked down, one where everyone gets to sit at the table, all are invited, and consequently all manner of people get fed and brought into the community. There are no expendables on Jesus' way or at his table or in his community. All are loved and matter much to Jesus, his God, and his community. The Lord's Supper, the communion table of bread and drink that churches have regularly, can be understood as a reenactment of Jesus' open table, as we also hold up and recall that he gave his flesh and his blood for us, leading a revolution and a rebellion that was radical, a rebellion of love. He led it with that table. His body was broken for us, and his blood was spilled because he dared to bring a new sort of love into our lives and into the world, a love for all. And that love has never stopped vibrating, and communion is a very visible sign and a very tactile remembrance of Jesus, his radical rebellion against inequality and inequity, and best of all, his radical love for all and his radical God who loves all. In short, communion's a radical act all on its own and done right. Christian love, Christian community, church, the body of Christ in the world now is radical. And our actions and our acts ought to be as radical as Jesus were and should continue to be through us in the world today. Followers of Jesus, like Jesus, must aim to be radical in love. Well, that's all I got on the topic for today. Thank you for joining me. Go in peace, knowing that you are loved and that you matter much.